The only permitted use of water will be for A. Drinking, and or B. The washing of clothes or of the body, and or C. Both public and private toilets. Drought Act, 1976. An act to respond to water shortages and droughts in the United Kingdom. Chapter 1. Highbury, London. The heat. The heat. It wakes Gretta just after dawn, propelling her from the bed and down the stairs. It inhabits the house like a guest who has outstayed his welcome. It lies along corridors. It circles around curtains. It lolls heavily on sofas and chairs. The air in the kitchen is like a solid entity, filling the space, pushing Gretta down into the floor, against the side of the table. Only she would choose to bake bread in such weather. Consider her now, yanking open the oven and grimacing in its scorching blast as she pulls out the bread tin. She's in her nightdress, hair still wound into curlers. She takes 2 steps backwards and tips the steaming loaf into the sink, the weight of it reminding her, as it always does, of a baby, a newborn, the packed, damp warmth of it. She has made soda bread 3 times a week for her entire married life. She's not about to let a little thing like a heatwave get in the way of that. Of course, living in London, it is impossible to get buttermilk. She has to make do with a mixture of half milk and half yogurt. A woman at Mass told her it worked, and it does, up to a point, but it's never quite the same. At a clacking sound on the lino behind her, she says, "Is that you? Bread's ready." "It's going to be," he begins, then stops. Gretta waits for a moment before turning round. Robert is standing between the sink and the table, his large hands upturned, as if he's holding a tea tray. He's staring at something. The tarnished chrome of the tap, perhaps, the runnels of the draining board, that rusting enamel pan. Everything around them is so familiar. It's impossible sometimes to tell what your eye has been trained upon, the way a person can no longer hear the individual notes of a known piece of music. "It's going to be a what?" she demands. He doesn't reply. She moves towards him and places a palm on his shoulder. "You all right?" She has, of late, been finding herself reminded of his age, the sudden stoop of his back, the look of mild confusion on his face. "What?" He swings his head around to look at her, as if startled by her touch. "Yes," he nods. "Of course. I was just saying it's going to be another hot one today." He shuffles sideways, just as she'd known he would, towards the thermometer, which clings by a spit-moistened sucker to the outside of the window. It is the 3rd month of the drought. For 10 days now, the heat has passed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. There has been no rain, not for days, not for weeks, not for months. No clouds pass, slow and stately as ships, over the roofs of these houses. With a metallic click, like that of a hammer tapping a nail, a black spot lands on the window, as if pulled there by magnetic force. Robert, still peering at the thermometer, flinches. The insect has a striated underside, 6 legs splaying outwards. Another appears, at the other end of the window, then another, then another. "Those buggers are back," he murmurs. Gretta comes to see, jamming on her glasses. Together they peer at them, transfixed. Swarms of red-backed aphids have, in the past week, been passing over the city. They mass in trees, on car windscreens. They catch in the hair of children.